We are the tourists. As you can see, we're here in Assin Manso. A very sad. I can't even talk about it because it's so emotional. You know, our forefathers went through a lot over here, and just stay tuned to our channel and watch it because we're going to tell you what they went through. You know, before you get in, they have pictures of what the slaves went through. As you can see, slave raiding. See, the slave master and the slaves. They go and raid them from there. Check out the next picture right here.
Aquí, señores, tenemos la foto de cuando transportaban todos los esclavos. O sea, lo agarraban, lo transportaban y se lo llevaban a su castillo.
And the picture says it's all capture. See the slaves, the slave master. Very sad. Okay, that was part of life.
Y aquí era cuando llegaban a su castillo. Si se fijan, le ponían cadenas en el cuello y en los pies para asegurarse que no se escaparan. Después que llegaron del bote, lo transportaban al castillo de los esclavos. Bien triste.
It's a picture of the last bath before they sold. All right.
Y este dibujo es una foto de los mercaderos con los esclavos tratando de vender lo que no les convenía. Lo presentaban como si fueran una mercancía, desafortunadamente, y lo vendían a su gusto.
Very sad, guys, very sad. This is a picture of a slave in panic, you see? Tied him up. You can't say nothing. It's a hell of a punishment, you know? Look at this one too.
En esta imagen podemos ver que el dueño de los esclavos cogía un metal con la letra de él perteneciendo al rey de los esclavos y se lo estampaba en la espalda para poder saber que el esclavo le pertenecía, como si fuera un animal. Es triste lo que se vivieron esta gente.
It's a picture of how the slaves were arranged in the ship. Very sad, guys, very sad. Packed like sardines. Worse than sardines. It's unbelievable. Let's check out the next picture. The slaves who fought for their freedom, what happened to them? They beat them up. Some even got killed. Very sad, guys. Very sad. Let's check out these ones. Now watch, it's kind of slippery, so be careful. And this is a picture of freed slaves, as you can see.
Y en la última imagen podemos apreciar lo que se vive hoy en día, en la cual ya no existe el esclavicismo. Ya somos todos libres. Gracias a lo que ellos sufrieron, nosotros podemos decir que somos libres, porque todos ellos fueron esclavizados injustamente, desafortunadamente y tristemente.
Thanks to them, people like him, we're free.
Welcome to the central region of Ghana, Assin Manso, Slave Riverside to be precise. You already know my name as Kofi, and I'm going to be your site guide. But before we start with the tour, we'll be observing a minute of silence for all our brothers and sisters that lost their lives during the trip. After which I will say, may their souls rest in perfect peace, and we all here respond by saying Ashin. So please, can we observe a minute of silence? The souls of our ancestors rest in perfect peace. So, Assin Manso, as the name implies, Assin basically means travelers, people that are just passing through. And Manso means the capital of Assin. So that is why we have the name Assin Manso. Assin Manso slave river sites played a major role during the transatlantic slave trade. It was documented by one British historian in the person of W.E. Ward in his book entitled The Short History of Ghana, as Assin Manso being the biggest slave market during the transatlantic slave trade era. So captives that were captured from the upper borders of Ghana, like Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and some parts of Nigeria, were first made to march in chains and shackles, barefooted and half-naked, to the Salaga market at the north. So it was in the Salaga market that they were given the first opportunity to rest, just for a few days, and again, they were made to walk in chains and shackles from the Salaga market to Assin Manso here, which was 300 miles by foot. During the journey, because they were marching through the forest belts of the country, a lot of our brothers and sisters were exposed to many dangers while marching from Salaga to Assin Manso. Some of them were beaten by snakes, others were attacked by wild animals, others suffered brutality and cruelty from the slave raiders. So according to our history, a lot of our brothers and sisters lost their lives while making the journey from Salaga to Assin Manso. The journey from Salaga to Assin Manso, they came to the Pra River. When they landed at the Pra River, in my thinking, I always say maybe our forebears thought it was a point that they could fetch some of the water and drink to quench their thirst, or they could even sprinkle some on their body to gain their energies. But later did they know that the Pra River was a death trap for them. So when they got to the Pra River, it was basically the survivor and the fittest. Those of our brothers and sisters that were weak and couldn't continue the journey, they were brought out of their chains and shackles, and they were dumped in the Pra River to die. So every 31st night, we always go to that river to observe a vigil and mourn with our ancestors, because the following day being the first is a very important day for us. We'll come over that, we'll come to it later. So when they landed here at Assin Manso, this was the place that they were sorted out according to age and sex. In determining their ages, a device called the speculum oris is put into their mouth, open their mouth, count their teeth, thereby forecasting their ages. Broken bottles was what was used in shaving our brothers and sisters. Leaves from a bamboo tree, which are very itchy, was what was used to bake them. After that, they were kept in the camp for some few days, fed fat, and waiting for their auction day. So after the auction day, those of our brothers and sisters that were captured, that were sold, they made to walk to the Cape Coast Dungeons, which was 35 miles from here. Wow. But during that era, wherever you were captured, it was a match of no return. You're going from your route and you're never ever coming back. So when you're taken through the dungeons at Cape Coast, there's this particular door with the inscription, the door of no return. Basically, that door is not a door to serve our interests as Africans or as Africans living in the diaspora. Because with the door of no return, people thought we are never going to make it alive to come back as it is. People never thought we are going to tell the story as it is. So now that our brothers and sisters are conscious enough to know themselves, and they are coming back to their roots as at when they love to return, then there is a need for us to change that perception, that infamous door of the castle called the door of no return, to the door of return. But the big question is, how do we do that? That is why, as you can see in our ancestral graveyard, we have the mortal remains of our two great ancestors in here, the first two. We have Madam Crystal from Kingston, Jamaica, and Samuel Carson from New York, US of A. Madam Crystal, she was a young, beautiful lady who was captured but landed up as slave in Jamaica. During the era of the trade, because she was a lady, she couldn't bear seeing people maltreated. She couldn't bear seeing people being killed. The atrocities were so much for this lady to contain. So in a way, she decided to make a mark by pushing for the abolishment of the trade. In doing so, she decided to starve herself to death. But during that era, whenever you try that, there is a punishment that is meted on you to serve as a deterrent from your other captives from doing same. They chisel your teeth and they force you to feed, which is called a force feeding. This and other punishments Madam Crystal went through. But because she was fighting for us, she stood firm, never took it anything until she lost her life. We have the descendants of Madam Crystal visiting every 27th of December just to pay their homage and say to their ancestor, Medasi, which literally means this is the mimosa plant. Our brothers from the Caribbean call it shame old lady, and this particular plant is everywhere in the world. And I'm going to tell you more about this plant. You see, during the era of the trade, it wasn't like we just gave ourselves out, we just obeyed and we just followed. No, we have people that were so strong and they fought with all their blood. Every opportunity that they get, they fight to get their way out. But because they weren't having the best of weapons as compared to the raiders, they were killed. So to avoid them from being captured, they started hiding in caves and mountains. It is evident when you go to the Shires, you see some settled in the caves. When you go to the Peru dams, some settled on the mountain, or in an attempt to prevent themselves from being captured. So those that were on the mountain, when they see the raiders coming, they roll stones at them so that they don't get to them. And those that were in the caves, the question was, if you are in the cave, how would you know whether it's safer to come out or not? So those that were in the caves grew some of this plant because they knew where the raiders might be coming from. They grew the plant along the stretch of the road. Sometimes it grows to this level. So they grew it along the stretch of the road as a landmark to them, or as a mark to them, or a signpost to them. So whenever they want to come out, the leader of the group will peep through the tiny holes all around the caves to see whether all this plant is open or is closed. So if the plant is open everywhere, then it's a good day. Nobody is out. You can come out. Let's do whatever we are doing and return back to our settlement. But when all the plants are closed, it can even be a movement of an animal, but nobody wants to take that risk, so nobody comes out. So this plant called the mimosa plant played that beautiful role during the era of slavery. So it saved a lot of our brothers and sisters. For me, I have changed the name from mimosa plant to destiny plant.
Destiny plant, yeah.
Because this plant is following us wherever we go as Africans. When you go to the US of A, North and South Carolina, Mississippi, Virginia, Texas, we have this plant. People have given a confession that they've seen some of these plants all over that place. When you go to the Caribbeans, they already have a name for it. So for them, it is everywhere. And I always tell them, whenever you see this plant as a black person or as an African living in the diaspora or African living everywhere, you should know that this plant is the same plant that saved most of our brothers and sisters. And this plant has a message for all Africans. So whenever you see the plant, it's telling you, you remember where you are coming from, so you need to come back to your roots, for which we call it the Sankofa. You come back to it. So this is the importance of the mimosa plant during the era of the